Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narayanam devim saraswati tato jayam nashtra prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtaye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandakaya Cha Nanda Gopala Maharaya Purvidaya Namo Pankaja Bhaya Namo Pankaja Mahini Namo Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajam Kredi Om Gyanatirandasya Gyanajanasya Jnanam Yevana Shri Gurave Mukam Karoti Vachālam Padmandayate Yatrupākamaham Vande Shri Guru Dināmidam Paramanandamātam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Preshaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namaste Namaste Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shriyavagi Vasratare Shatari Vancha Padparim Gresha Tripasindhudre Ashra Patilanam Padavi Krivu Vaishnavi Krivu Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Prabhupada Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yanta Pravishamavashanava Pratruttanam Sanjeevayata Khila Shakti Dhara Sastanamna Anyam Shahasracharana Sharana Pradani Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purishaya Tutyam Kadanchamasmate Yasmin Duskaram Sutaram Bhavet Vismate Vipreetam Syat Shri Chaitanya Namah Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for welcoming me and being part of this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. Yesterday we had the first part. Today we're discussing another very important theme from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is forgiveness. Forgiveness is an issue which I think all of us face, right? Anybody here who's had to deal with forgiveness in life? All of us have. Okay. So this is the first canto, 18th chapter. So there is a very interesting comparison of Parikshit Maharaj and Shringi. Maharaj Parikshit was able to overlook all the faults in Kali. Namadveshtim Kalim Samrat Saranga Iva Sarabhuk Kushalana Siddhyanti Nitarani Kritani. So Parikshit Maharaj was like a bee which would know the essence of the flower. He would not see the faults. Kushalani Ashu Siddhyanti Netarani Kritani. If there is a lot of faults, you take that one good thing and glorify it. And Shringi was exact opposite. Shringi was the son of Shamik Rishi, who saw that Maharaj Parikshit had put a dead snake on his father's neck. But he didn't see Parikshit Maharaj's lifetime of wonderful qualities and devotional service. He just zoomed into that one small fault and made it so big, and he meted out a curse which was disproportionate to the mistake that the king did. Are you getting this? So Shringi saw the whole life of devotional service, but he picked only that fault. And when Parikshit Maharaj dealt with Kali, he saw Kali is full of faults, but he picked up that one good quality. This is the difference between a Vaishnava and a non-devotee. This is an amazing contrast, Parikshit Maharaj and Shringi. So when Shringi is very upset with Parikshit Maharaj, he pronounces a curse. Aho dharma palanam tiganam galim mujamiva swami agamya dasanam dvarapanam shunanva. Oh, the kings have become unrighteous and they are watchdogs. He calls Parikshit Maharaj a dog. Prabhupada writes in the purport that, yeah, in one sense, the king is a watchdog, but to call him like that is bad manners. So Shringi actually is calling Parikshit Maharaj as a dog who's supposed to protect the house. So like that. And Swamini as Dasana, we are the Swami, and the king is a servant. He's extremely proud boy. And he says, doesn't the king know that Kshatriyas are supposed to be servants of the Brahmanas? Ramanamo Kshatra Badhurhi Grihapalo Nirupita Sakatam Tad Grihe Vasta Savandam Bhoktumarvati Savandam Bhoktumarvati. The king is like a dog who is trying to eat from the same plate as the master. These are very strong words to a pure devotee of the Lord. So he goes on a rant. He just starts blaspheming the king. Srila Prabhupada writes amazing purport. And finally, he says, but don't worry, I'm there. I'm there to protect everyone. This is what happens when we are influenced by envy. Even Daksha, before cursing Lord Shiva, he says, "Na agyanam na cha matsaram." What I'm going to speak now is not out of envy. Pride and envy is such amazing that when we are envious, we think we are not envious. So he says, yeah, what to do? Krishna has gone away to the spiritual world, but I'm there to protect him. Krishna gati bhagavati shastra utpatta gaminam tat bhinna setun adyaham shasmi pashyata mevatam. Wait and watch what I'm going to do now. I've come to protect everyone. Krishna has gone away, but no problem. I'm there. And like this Brahmana, very inexperienced, puffed up, he pronounces a curse. Iti langita maryadam takshaka saptamehani. In 7 days, takshaka will come and bite Parikshit Maharaj and kill him. Then Kshatisma kulangaram choditome tatadruam. So he has broken the etiquette of insulting my father, so I curse him that in 7 days he will die. So that Prabhupada writes, this is a misuse of Brahminical power. And so like that. So we are seeing very interesting personalities in this 18th chapter of the first canto. One is Parikshit Maharaj, whom we saw. Kushalanashu siddhyanti netarani kritani. He saw complete faults, but he zoomed into the good qualities. Kalev dosha nide rajan asti eko mahan guna. A Vaishnava sees that one good quality. And Shringi saw all good qualities in Parikshit Maharaj, but he preferred to pick up that one bad one. Actually, it is Krishna's arrangement, but he chose that one incident. So the question that we need to ask ourselves is, what do we do? Do we instinctively catch others doing right, or do we catch them doing wrong? The American management guru, Peter Drucker, he gave this concept, catch them doing right. Generally, it's a default setting to catch wrong. In our counselors meeting, we did this exercise. We put a big board and we wrote 3 into 7 is equal to 21. 4 into 5 is equal to 20. 6 into 6 is equal to 38. 9 into 4 is equal to 36. And we showed it to the audience. What do you think? What do you notice? 6 into 6? You didn't say probably that other thing was right. 5 into 2 is 10 or whatever that. So that we don't see only. What is Gadbad? First we go there. So we have to ask ourselves, am I Shringi or am I Parikshit Maharaj? If I'm Shringi, I will overlook all the good qualities in others. and prefer to pick up that one bad quality or one mistake. So if we see mistakes in others and we are unable to forgive others for their slips and mistakes, then we are sinning. If we pick up that one small dereliction of duty, but if we are accommodating, we see the good in others, then we are following Parishit Maharaj. So today I wanted us to meditate on these two personalities. How we deal with others, our colleagues, other God brothers, God sisters, devotees in the community. So as a spiritual practitioner, I could be Shringi, means I am driven by false ego, or I could be Parishit Maharaj. So that is a simple test. Simple test is, what is my natural inclination? Do I see good in others or do I see faults in others? I know you may say that, Prabhu, but sometimes the faults are obvious, somebody hurts us, somebody behaves improperly, and what to do? So we are going to discuss. Achha, do you know what Prashit Maharaj did after this mistake, so-called mistake? It is justified. He actually repented, sincerely repented. And Srila Prabhupada writes in that purport that repentance is a sign of a good devotee. And Prabhupada also gives the example of fire and dry grass. When you put fire on dry grass, the dry grass burns to ashes. Similarly, it says when repentance is a fire that burns the sinful reactions to ashes. So if some devotee is sincere, but he's made a mistake, can we forgive them? So let us explore this today, the next few minutes, about forgiveness, which is a hallmark of a sincere devotee. Shamik Rishi could easily forgive Parikshit Maharaj. He didn't take offense. But Shringi could not. So how to forgive others when we are offended? That's the topic. Okay? Please bear with me for the next few minutes. And we'll have some, I want to present some points. Actually, Shamik Rishi did not even consider it as an offense. So there's no question of forgiving. And first, I want to give a disclaimer. When we are discussing about offenses in a general way, in a small way, things that happen in the community. Somebody hurts our ego. We're talking about those things. But if it is serious offense, like sometimes abuse, rape, violence, those kind of offenses, then forgiveness is there, but that is later. First, we need to seek remedy. We need to seek justice or involve a third person for help. Is that clear? So don't ask this question now. What you want to do it? No. So many people are weak in this world and they are unable to seek justice. Many people. I'm sure you have come across them. So what they do, they cover up their weakness with words like, I forgive Prabhuji. I forgive him. But they carry pain in the heart. We have seen such people. So they declare their inability or unwillingness or their impotence, which is a weakness. So they see their weakness to get justice. So they see it as like forgiveness. Oh, they say, I'm forgiving him for the fault. So if you are feeling helpless and if you're feeling powerless against somebody who's an abuser, then please know that if you're forgiving that person, it's not forgiveness. I hope that is clear. Otherwise, like discussing about forgiveness, you may be having this conception in that way. If somebody is a victim of abuse and you're abusing, you are forgiving without understanding what is justice or what is seeking help, then that forgiveness, so-called forgiveness, is dangerous because that is reinforcing your weakness and it's also making the abuser strong. That abuser becomes stronger. So, like I don't know if you have experience like this, but in being in the Krishna consciousness movement for some years now, the classic case some years ago in one of our satellite centers, one mataji, her husband was a drunkard And she was a devotee. He was not a devotee. She was trying to humbly preach to him, even prefer, but he was incorrigible. So he would come home drunk and he would beat his wife with a belt. And so in one yatra, Mataji stay in groups, like everybody stays in groups. So there are 4 or 5 Mataji in one room. So some of the Mataji saw some marks in her body like that. So they understood it's some gruesome. So when they confronted her, she said, no, nothing, nothing. Finally, one of the Matajis, she told her husband that, this Mataji is such a sincere devotee. But because then when they confronted Mataji, she finally confessed her husband beats her with a bed every night and like that. Madness. And for many years, this abuse was going on. So, and then this Mataji told her husband, and husband was a very close friend of me and Govind Prabhu. So he came to us. So Prabhuji, this Mataji told this to my wife, and then this happened, the whole story. So then Govind Prabhu and some very senior Grahastha counselor, they went together and they confronted this Mataji. Confronted Matlab, they wanted to help her. And this Mataji refused to address the issue. She was saying, no, I forgive my husband. So it was, and she kept saying, let me forgive. So what was happening was, and then when the discussion went deeper, what came out? She actually was in the consciousness that I deserve to be beaten. When it was mess. She was in a royal mess. And also, there's two things. Two things were shocking for us. One is, she said, I deserve to be beaten. Probably what to do, I'm fallen. And secondly, she also thought that her husband is expressing love for beating her. That's the only language he knows. So this is not forgiveness. Inability to take help. So, because this sort of important forgiveness, what it does is, it gives fuel to the fire of oppression. Somebody is abusing, he gets more stronger. So the oppressors, abusers, you are stimulating their aggression more by such weak forgiveness. So therefore, I don't want to discuss these kind of topics because it's very intense topics. And also I'm not qualified for it and I've not seen it personally. So we need to consult some experts who can give us guidance. But we are talking about forgiveness, which is appropriate when there is genuine healing happening, when the person who's offended is also a devotee, Vaishnava, like that. And we are talking about forgiveness which is consistent with self-respect and moral equality. So, like Parishit Maharaj did not hold a degraded view of the person he offended. He was respectful, it's just that it happened. So he was repentant. So then forgiveness also makes sense. But in serious cases, I request you, don't, because when we hear about forgiveness, every time we have discussed forgiveness, this question comes with how to forgive somebody who was abused you. So forgiveness means, in serious cases, what do we need? Justice and help. Please. So I'll clarify. Justice and forgiveness can be practiced together. Justice is what? Justice is when you rebalance the scales. Like the dharma principle is balanced. That is justice. And forgiveness is basically inner healing. Inside there is healing has to happen. So I added a quote somewhere. Forgive your ex, but make sure he pays your support, your alimony. So forgive them, but push them to go to jail if they have to go, if they need to go. Basically, release your hurt. That is forgiveness. But when you release the hurt, make sure that they fulfill the consequences of what they've done. So like that. So in simple ways to explain, justice is what? Justice is a remedy for the past. What has happened in the past, for that remedy is justice. And what is, because they're carrying some trauma or abuse, the pain in the heart, so for that we need justice. But what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is the medicine for a better future. So forgiveness is what helps us go future with more healing, and justice is what helps us heal the past. Like that. So like that. So in our society, in our institution, we need justice. So, but in private sphere, for individual healing, emotional well-being, we have to learn to release and forgive. So I hope this is clear. I'm not going to discuss this more. Forgiveness is not anti-justice. Both can go on together. They can coexist. And for the sake of sanity in a world where there's a lot of violence going on, we need justice. So, but along with this, forgiveness is also important. We only talk about justice sometimes. So justice is not enough. Hare Krishna, Prabhu's mataji. I got justice. Justice is not enough. We will need to move forward. We need to, as Vaishnavas, we need to release the grudges, the anger which is there inside our heart. And so when you hear the word forgive others, have you heard this? Please forgive others. But if you're thinking of you have been abused, then please know that when we hear the word forgiveness, what we are talking about is release that pain. उसको निकालो अपने दिल से. Seek help from a third person. Go forward like that. Okay? So let us come back to this verse, this section which we were discussing. Let us discuss some smaller things. Then somebody put a snake on his neck. So, and he's cursed him to be killed in 7 days. So we are talking about false ego being crushed. Krishna uses other people to crush our false ego. Now, let us understand why we are unable to forgive someone and how we can forgive the devotee. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So once I remember I was hearing a class by this Radhika Raman Prabhu Ravi Gupta. He gave a beautiful example. He asked the audience, which I will also ask you. Hold your fist tightly, both fists. Tight. Raise it like this. And even more tight. It should literally pain. Okay? Keep it like this for the next 2 hours. keep it, not 2 hours. Just a few seconds. And now, tight. Okay? And now release. I heard. How you felt when you released? Relief, Milana? Because we have artificial condition, holding on tight. So when you let loose, you just feel free. This is exactly what happens when we release our anger through forgiveness. When we release those grudges, when we remove it out of the system. So anger is what? What do you say? Is one letter short of danger, right? So justice is needed. We talk about justice, but we also need to release the pain and move forward, and that is called forgiveness, which is what we are discussing today. So I found this amazing section in Canto Pururava. You propose into Urvashi, that whole drama happens. And she says, I want food cooked in pure ghee, and my goat should not be stolen, and all that drama. Finally, he loses her. He's so angry, and she lectures him that you should not trust me. But still, he's frustrated. But the end is amazing. When he relieves that frustration and anger, he traveled free in the world. Bhagavatam says. He was carrying so much in the heart when he released that. So when we hold grudges, Prabhu's, Mataji's, when we hold grudges, he said like that, he did like that. Then we, more than the person who did that to us, we experience the pain. So I'm not talking about what is right or wrong, I'm talking simple logic. You want to be peaceful or not? So you have to learn to release. So when you have hot charcoal, you are carrying, you are the one who is. So what is the best gift? Forgiveness is the best gift we can give to ourselves, right? So, and if we don't forgive, let's say we don't forgive, what will happen? It will create havoc inside. If you have been hurt by someone and you are unable to release that hurt, please know this is not something simple. There are 3 dangers that happen when we don't consciously release the pain. Okay, before we go ahead, How many of you, if you feel shy to answer and raise your hand, close your eyes and raise your hand? How many of you have at some point of time felt hurt or pained by somebody else's behavior in your life? I'm raising my hand. I'm not looking at you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being honest. We all have experienced at some point of time, right? So it is important for us to release that grudges. It's very important. Otherwise, what will happen? Three things happen. First, it can get misdirected. Our anger and grudges can get misdirected. And like for example, your boss is abused you. I'm giving an example. Your boss abuses you in office, but you don't know how to release it. And what you do, you come home and shout at your children. This is also common in this world, right? So, or you felt insulted in a meeting, and then you go home and you cook horribly in the kitchen. So, this is a classic case of misdirected anger or grudge. किसी का गुस्सा किसी पे निकालना होता है, common है. So, this is the first thing that happens when we don't know how to release properly. Misdirection of anger. Second thing, generally what happens if you have anger and grudges inside and we don't know the simple things way of releasing it, then our response generally is disproportionate. Like Shringi's response was disproportionate to the offense committed. So, like for example, there is injustice in a scale of 1 to 10. 3 units of injustice has been meted out to you. How many units? 3. And now you are holding it within. You don't know, you're not releasing it. Then it comes out eventually as 8 units. Can you think of a classic case from Bhagavatam? 4th canto. Dhruva. What happened? Huh? Dhruva Maharaj, what happened? His brother was killed. And then he went on a rampage, killing all the Yakshas. So even same thing with the Prachetas. They just burnt all the trees. And then they were recklessly burning. And who had to intervene? Brahmaji had to come and stop them. So this is the second thing. What is the first thing that happens when we don't learn to release our grudges and anger? Misdirected. We release it on others. Second, disproportionate response. And third, when we don't learn to release it, we become totally self-centered. I. We think false pride is self-centered, but anger is he. He is responsible for my anger. We think like that. Anger is other person-centered. No, actually, anger is self-centered because it makes a lot of changes in my world. And many of us, we don't want to give up the anger. Many don't want to give up anger because it gives pleasure in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and we want to hold on to it. Oh, he has wronged me. He deserves reaction. Maybe yes, he deserves reaction for the wrong he has done. But if you give them reaction, then what happens? If you give them reaction, what happens? That person is freed from karma, and then karma comes and haunts you. So law of karma is very, very interesting. I don't know if you have experienced this. 2 children are fighting at home. So the parents want to they want to solve the mess. So what do children do? They say, he started the fight. Both children keep telling, he started. The others say, no, he started. And what does the mother do? She punishes both. She doesn't try to find out who started. She is more interested to know who all are involved. So law of karma is like that. Law of karma will not ask who started this. Law of karma will ask what? Who are involved? Who is involved in this? So like that. So we have to trust this law of karma. It is infallible. In India we say, police will say, कानून को अपने हाथ में मत लो. We say law of karma को अपने हाथ में मत लो. So let us not make this mistake. But you may say, yes, Prabhu, but I am a leader, I have a position, and I'm responsible, I have to give punishment. So will there be reaction then? What do you think? as a temple leader, a community leader, you take action, you give justice, you have to do certain things. So will that law of karma, reaction, all that will work when we act? What do you think? Well, it is a service, so we can give punishment as a service, but reaction will be there. Reaction will be there. Therefore, if you see in the olden times, the kings and leaders, what they would do, at the right time, they would renounce. That was part of their culture. They would give up the karma cycle. They would give up. Like Pandavas, that is chapter in the Bhagavatam. What is the chapter called? Pandavas retire timely. Actually, they should have done more seva. Krishna had gone from the world. So they could have taken on more responsibility. But they know leadership is a double-edged sword. If you are a leader, no one wins in the end when we are giving punishment. So you take harsh decisions, right versus wrong. At some point of time, Prabhus, we have to give up taking tough decisions. Parents say, I'm a parent, I have to correct my child, I have to punish. Well, yes, but at some point of time, you have to stop. Some point of time, you have to stop. You can't be a whole life correcting your child. So, as teachers, as parents, we have to give up at some point of time. So, let us not be the implementer of karma. Let us just learn to forgive. मैंने अपने जिंदगी को यूं आसान बना लिया, कुछ लोगों को माफ कर दी, कुछ लोगों से माफी मांग लिया. So I made my life very easy. I beg forgiveness from some people and I forgave some. So I want to briefly discuss how to forgive. So this is the basic background. So I hope that is clear. Like it can get disproportionate, it can get misdirected, it can result in a lot of anger, a lot of mental issues, health issues, and even as leaders, we have to eventually give up that service of correcting, doing all of that. So how to forgive? This is where, although there is a lot of false ego here, we think I have been offended, so I have to forgive. Actually, more important topic is how to seek forgiveness. But because how to forgive is more attractive than how to seek forgiveness. Let us honestly admit, isn't it? This is actually also false ego. How to forgive? I'm very attentive. How to seek forgiveness? Not so attentive. So how to forgive others? So there are two factors in forgiving others. One is the they factor and one is the I factor. So there are two people involved in forgiveness. One is I and one is the other person. So let us see how to handle both parties. Then we'll know how to forgive. So they factor. Let us say the other party. Now first we'll deal with the other party who has offended you. So we have to forgive them. So there are three important principles here. So we have to recalibrate about them. First, most important, please recognize that when you're offended, your ego is hurt. We have to recognize that everyone is acting because they are controlled by their own nature. Which is a famous verse from the Gita, 3.27. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vipurhatma tartahum manyate. So people are controlled by their nature and the modes take over. So can we say, instead of saying that he hurt me, can we begin to recognize and say that he behaved like this because he was forced by the action of his own nature and he did like this, and that's why I'm hurt. Generally, he hurt me. We just died. We just forced the whole burden on. I think original Krishna book, I don't know where Srila Prabhupada says that, Brahmaji kidnaps these boys and calves. So Prabhupada says that this behavior was expected because of his work in the mode of passion. Interesting, huh? So Brahma's wrong behavior is expected because of his nature, which is because of his work, which is in the mode of passion. And what to speak of the devotee who has hurt you in the meeting? He said something nasty or he did something. So even Raghuguna Maharaj, when he's first, how did he react to Jayabharat? He scolded him. And then in the end, what does he say? When he's begging sorry, and he says, I was controlled by my kingly nature. I'm sorry. He felt remorse. So many times, even the kings would have over the top reaction. In the Vedic culture also, they would freak out, they would lose it. So therefore, like in Dhruv Maharaj's case, which we discussed just now. So therefore, they would have a council of ministers. Because it is possible that our nature can take over. So when somebody has offended us, the first way to deal with that is to see that the person and the nature, and that is causing this. So we all have good qualities, and those qualities can sometimes cause difficulties also. So that's what natures compel us. Like for example, there may be a Brahminical devotee who is very good in analysis and study of scriptures, and but he'll not take any action. So that good quality has this fallout also. Like sometimes some Kshatriya type nature, very good in taking action, doing things, but sometimes he's not able to see and think how this can be wrong. There's some devotees who think a lot and then speak. And you've seen some people, they speak first and then think. I don't know if you have met, I have met such पहले बोल देते बाद में अरे क्या बोल गए. So our nature, it serves us, but it also can boomerang. So if you actually understand the verse 3.27, we will not be angry because our nature, it has a past. So, one devotee was telling me once, we made this presentation. One Grihastha told me, Prabhuji, I know one devotee for 17 years in our community. And I used to always feel he's so stingy, kanjus. Stingy. He would not give Lakshmi donation, very stingy. But recently, we were very intimately, we were talking because something happened, we were in Yatra together. And I came to know his past. Before coming to ISKCON, his 30 years of life, 32 years of life, he maximum time was in acute poverty. So he's very good, but he has learned to value money like, from childhood he's seen hardships. So now I know where is that stinginess coming from. So you see what I'm trying to say is our nature has a past. So many of sometimes behavior, we may just feel he's offended me, he's hurt me, but we don't know that our past determines our nature and our behavior. We see the body, we see the behavior, but do you see the subtle body? Can you see mind, intelligence, ego, what is happening? Imagine we could see that. Imagine, just like you are seeing somebody's hand like shouting. Imagine you could see inside what is happening. What's pain? See, you will know then how much pain and suffering must be there. You will be able to, if you could see that, then you will be compassionate. Generally, we see only the gross body and what that has done to us. We see the physical features and we judge. Like if you see somebody is wobbling and you call someone, Prabhuji, come here, and he's like wobbling. Oh, and immediately you see he's lame or he's having some issues with the feet. But subtle body, what is there? That we don't know what he's going through. And instead of appreciating, empathizing, we poke more wound to the subtle body. We say or behave in some way that the subtle body gets more damaged. So therefore, nectar of instruction, there is this famous verse, Drishtva Svabhava Janite Vapushascha Doshe. So external body situations don't judge. So we can apply the same logic on subtle body also. No? Don't judge somebody subtle body also. So because the pure spirit soul has been covered by mind, intelligence, ego. So let us shift the focus from the self that I have been hurt by him to see how others have been forced to act by their nature. Is that clear? This is the first point. Second, please see when you're offended, see how the other person is also forced by a stress or duress. Classic case is Lakshman and Sita, Mother Sita. When Maricha shouted loudly, what did Lakshman do? He was cool. Mother Sita panicked. So what are the conflict here? Mother Sita and Lakshman's. Mother Sita was concern. She was governed by concern. Lakshman was confidence. Confidence versus concern clash. So Lakshman did not take it seriously. When he met Lord Ram also scolded him. First, who scolded Lakshman? Mother Sita scolded to go. And when he went searching for Mother Sita, Lord Ram scolded him. He could have said, "What is this? Aapka Miyan Bibi ka jhagda mere ko fasa diya. I will give up. I will go and join some body movement somewhere." He could have left. He could have got pissed off, But he hung on. He said, "ठीक है यार, ये होता है." She was in distress. Mother Sita was in distress. So my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj says, if somebody is giving you suffering, that means he is also suffering. Because suffering never comes from a joyful heart. You are suffering, fine, but the one who gave you suffering, he cannot be in a joyful space. So somebody is hurting you means they are hurt even more. So the pain we feel is real. I know you say that. But please know, although the pain I feel is real, that is less than what they are feeling in their heart. And that's why it's coming out like that. Because suffering in this world, suffering is born from a place of suffering. That is how it is. Somebody gives us pain, that person is also in pain. If somebody is giving you love and happiness, what does that mean? That person is in a very happy heart, is in a very happy space. So these are the two things. How to see others when they are offended. What is the first way to see others when they are offended? They are controlled by their nature. Second, they are acting under duress or stress. Third, which is the most difficult to swallow, please bear with me. And that is when you are offended by someone, please remember that devotee who is offended you is also dear to Krishna. We want to see that person crushed. How could he hurt me? And if we see they are happy, we become more miserable. We forget that verse from the Gita. Api chetasu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhavak. We forget that person is also dear to Krishna. See, both Shamik Rishi and Parishit Maharaj is the same. And Ambarish Maharaj was offended by Durvasa Muni. Ambarish Maharaj knew that Durvasa Muni is dear to the Lord. They were not upset. Shamik Rishi was not upset. Ambarish Maharaj was not upset. Because they saw from another perspective how this person is dear to Krishna. So when we are offended, this is the third thing we can practice about the other person. First is to see that person is acting under nature. Second, under stress. And third, seeing that person is dear to Krishna. So this is the adjustment we can make about the other person when we are offended. And then we can also make some adjustments regarding ourselves, how to see ourselves when we are offended. Is that okay? First, we have seen how to see the other person. Second, regarding the first adjustment we can make about ourselves when we are offended is, first is, Krishna is relieving me of some karma reaction. Something was there, it had to be cleaned. Very simple, we have heard this, discussed this many times. I will not dive into it. Yeah, some cleansing is happening. Second, this is an opportunity for me to embrace Krishna conscious principles. This is an opportunity for me to practice Krishna consciousness. All the big things I have been speaking is an opportunity for me to become a transition person. Transition person is one who gets sort of negativity, but who gives us positivity. Generally, we give to the world what we get. If somebody has been abused in childhood, that person grows up to be an abuser. If somebody has seen drunkard parents fighting, he also becomes a drunkard. But a transition person is one who sees negativity happening to him, but he chooses to give out positive. So when one way of seeing situations of offense is to make a choice of being a transition person. Okay, now I'm going to apply Krishna consciousness. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity to become transition person. I'll apply Krishna consciousness. So, and generally, to learn this, we need association of devotees. Have you heard this? Devotees are more merciful than Krishna. Why? Why do we say this? Because Krishna's pure devotees, they know what it is to live in the material world. They are here. They are merciful. They see suffering. They see how Krishna is waiting for them. So, I was telling someone recently, a wounded healer is the best healer. In this material world, when we go through pain and suffering, we can empathize, we can help others. So, this is a great opportunity for us to serve, learn, grow. So, third thing is, what is the first thing? How to see ourselves? Krishna and relieving of karma reactions. Second, opportunity to apply Krishna consciousness and learn and become a transition person. And third, very interesting or very simple is when you're offended, very difficult to do. Look at our own faults. I must have done something wrong. Dharma and Kali and Parikshit Maharaj. We should read that section. Dharma refuses to blame Kali. So, Jai and Vijay pastime, the four Kumaras. Lord Vishnu takes responsibility. Chindyatso bahum pratikula vrithim. I will lop off my arms if they are found hostile to serving you. Taking responsibility for what we are going through. I forget that story. There is some very interesting sweet section. I heard from Radheshyam Prabhu recently about how Lord Vishnu was running when he saw that Jai Vijay were offended and he wanted to balance both for Kumaran and Jai Vijay situation. So he described very beautifully how Lord Vishnu wanted to go fast and Garudji was slow. So he got off Garudji and he put Garudji on top and running, and then his dhoti slipped and something like that. He pulled his dhoti also when he was running. He wanted to be there to salvage the situation because he loves his devotees. So anyway. So this is very, very important. So we have discussed two aspects to how to forgive. One was how to be the other person and how to see ourselves. How to see the other person when the offense happens. How to be the other person? Nature. Second, distress. Third, and regarding myself, how do I see? Phlegma is getting free. Second, opportunity to learn, grow, change, apply Krishna consciousness. And third, look at our root causes. So you may find it difficult to forgive, and that devotee may come and seek forgiveness. And I've seen situations where the devotee is like, okay, he's coming and seeking forgiveness. So what I should do then? If somebody is seeking forgiveness from you, what you should do? If you've been hurt and offended, and somebody has come and sought forgiveness, what you should do?
Embrace that person.
Embrace, forgive. But I have seen devotees questioning the intention and sincerity of the person. This happens because we are thinking so much about ourselves. We miss it. We miss that this person, we question the intention. Ideally, like we ask, do you mean it? Do you mean like somebody is asking, please forgive me. See, the simple rule we should follow is accept it on the face value. Trust that person's sincerity. Now, I was reading that Vrindavan Dham, when we go, we say, we go to Dham, even if you sleep, it is considered Dandavat Pranam. You heard of it? So when a Vaishnava is telling you sorry, why not take it as sorry? No, Prabhuji, wo natak kar raha hai. Also, my experience is that in ISKCON, we have to learn to accept indirect apology also. Actually, in India, I've seen this. People, they can't say sorry directly, but they say it indirectly, and we have to be a little mature to see that he is repentant. Because many devotees can't apologize for offense they commit because of some cultural factors. I should beg forgiveness, but if somebody is not able to, I should give him the benefit of the cultural factors. We should apologize, please. Bhaktivinoda Thakur very emphatically writes, we should apologize. But the others cannot. I've seen that sometimes devotees offer indirect apology. What I mean by indirect apology is, okay, first, what is direct apology? What we should do if somebody directly apologizes? Ask him asking questions, right? Accept. Huh? Be gracious and move on and give love. And I like what Prabhu said. Just embrace him. Okay, I have. And like indirect apology. Now let us say somebody is not apologizing, but you can make up. Sometimes you can know that he's not happy about what he has done. But if you insist, then he should directly apologize, then it can cause friction. See, you can tell them they made a mistake. You can give a feedback, point it out. Then wait for that shift in behavior to happen over a period of time. I'll repeat, there is some shift happens in the behavior over a period of time. As a member of the Council for Spiritual Vision, I was part of our temple's apex management body for 7-8 years, till it became beyond me. I didn't have the bandwidth to be there. So 2006 to 2014, I was part of that group. And I was secretary also, plus attending meetings. And I saw some very interesting things. Sometimes it was obvious mistake, but the devotee would not say sorry. But you would see his behavior would change. You would rectify it. Next time you would, but he would not say sorry. It took me some time to realize that 90% of the devotees are reasonable. Let us admit that. Most devotees are reasonable, but so they may not say sorry. The real test of is when you can make the relationship normal. So that's very important. Durvasa and Ambarish, what happened to them? Their relationship became normal after the whole Kand. It's a big incident, but it became normal relationship. Same thing with Indra and Krishna. After the Parijata episode, after the goal, and it became normal. Ritu Maharaj and Indra became normal. Yes. Brahmaji, Krishna, back to normal. So beauty of forgiveness is you don't have to you can forgive even without being asked. That's the beauty of it. Like when Valmiki Ramayana explains, when Lord Ram returned, so Mother Kaikeyi wanted to beg forgiveness for the whole thing that happened. But even before she could seek forgiveness, what did Lord Ram do? He touched her feet. So she was forgiven even before she asked for it. So like that. And the best example for forgiveness is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Krishna. Once I was hearing His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Swami Maharaj, and very beautifully gave the example that when the intention is good and the action is bad, then what does Krishna accept? Intention. What is the classic Vinaspu? Bhishma. Bhishma's intention was good, he loved Pandavas. But his action was bad, he fought for the Kauravas. And even that Odia woman, she climbed on Lord Chaitanya's shoulders. In one sense, it's an offense. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the intention. In fact, Mahaprabhu went on to say, "Oh, Bhagyavati Vandi Yarapai. She is the most fortunate. I offer my respectful obeisances unto her." And then Mahaprabhu says, "Oh, Bhagyavati Vandi Yarapai. Yara Prasada Oiche Aati Amarva." If I get her blessings, I will also get love of Krishna like that. And he sees that Mataji, although she's acted wrongly, he says she acted like that because from inside outside she's full of Jagannath. She's Jagannathized. Mahaprabhu says, Jagannatha Vishtaya Tanu Mana Prani Moraskanda Padadiyache Tato Nahi Jane. She climbed on my shoulders because she did not realize what she was doing because she was inside outside Jagannath. So, and then he chastises his own servant, Govinda. He says, "You Adivasi." So, Mahaprabhu says, "Tara Arti Deki Prabhu Kohite Lagila, Eta Arti Jagannath More Nahi Dila." Mahaprabhu says, "I don't have the eagerness which she has." So, Mahaprabhu is not seeing the action, he's seeing the intention. So inspiration for forgiveness is Krishna, because when the intention is good and the action is bad, the Lord accepts the intention. But let's say the action is good, but the intention is bad. Then what does the Lord accept? Action, which is a classic case. Action is good, intention is bad. Putana, ahopakiyam, kamba, dayalum, sharanam, braje, mama. The Lord Krishna accepts. So, in the third canto, purport, Prabhupada writes this famous statement. Amazing. Can you please repeat after me? This is like everybody knows this, but I'll repeat. It's one of my favorites. Lord accepts the least qualification of living entity and awards him the highest reward. This is the Lord's character. Beautiful. I'll repeat. Again, you can repeat. Lord accepts the least qualification of living entity and awards him the highest reward. This is the Lord's character. Another example is Ajamil. His intention was not calling out the Lord. His action was right. Narayan. God accepted. So both not. So intention is good, action is bad. Lord accepts intention. Intention is bad, action is good. Lord accepts. Now let us say both intention and action are bad. Then what does Krishna do? Then Krishna forgives as soon as devotee seeks forgiveness. So Indra trying to kill the Brajvasis, Brahmaji kidnapping. Of course, Vaishnava Prabhu is serious. So Sadhavo Hridayam Mayam, Sadhunam Hridayam Tvaham, Adanya Tena Janapi, Aham Tevi Bhumagapi. So Aham Bhakta Paradhino, Lord says, so we can't offend devotees. But the point I'm making is Krishna is generous, Krishna is flawless. So there are 6 opulences of Krishna, but the most attractive opulence of Krishna is forgiveness. And it's actually forgiveness which makes all other qualities beautiful. So imagine somebody is very strong, but has no forgiveness in his heart. So what will happen? Such a person is very dangerous, isn't it? Somebody with a lot of power. Somebody with a lot of power but no forgiveness. What can that person do? He will destroy you. So actually, that's why some religions, in some parts, you'll see that they present God as somebody who's unforgiving. He will burn in hell forever. You know this? So their God is very, very dangerous God. He's strong and he's unforgiving. And the other extreme, some religious people, they say our God is whatever sin you commit, he will save you. He is like always forgive. You keep sinning and our prophet will keep suffering for you. That is the other extreme. So we have 2 crazy extremes. But Srila Prabhupada has given us very mature understanding. Krishna forgives us, but he doesn't forgive unconditionally. He makes us go through what Bhishma went through, what he had to go through. So he gives us what is needed. Like parents will give, correction. But Krishna loves us and it appears that forgiveness is delayed, but he does forgive. We go through some reaction, but we do get Krishna's love. So the point I'm making is, please stop blaming the world for our suffering, and we'll be much happier. Once one small girl, she fell from the table. She wanted attention of all the devotees that had gone to their house. So there was a big table. So, when the elders are talking, the child wants attention sometimes. The child was not getting attention. So that she climbed on the table and then she fell. And when she fell, everybody was mollycoddling the child. Oh, everybody, her name was Eve. So the elders, they started beating the table. Bad boy, this table is hurt our darling Eve. And then the child became pacified. Table is just so one devotee was telling, see, they are now spoiling the child. I said, how? He said, now they're trained. The training has begun for the child. That when she's crying, when she's hurt, when she's in pain, the table is responsible. So whole life she will keep looking for a table to beat. When she is hurt, she will stop taking responsibility for her life. So that's how we start getting spoiled. So what happens is, when we blame, when we are in pain, we are in pain. When we start blaming, the pain becomes double. And in that pain, what happens when the pain becomes double? We get convinced that he is responsible for it. The earlier there is pain. So in that pain, we start blaming. So the blaming makes the pain more. And that more pain makes us convinced that he is responsible. And when that conviction that he is responsible gives more pain. And eventually that pain and that response that he is responsible, that thing gets integrated with the pain. And for the lie gets integrated that he is responsible for my suffering. He is responsible. And then we don't need any means because we have successfully destroyed ourselves. That lie has integrated into our system. So therefore, let us learn to forgive and move forward in life with grace and dignity. And also along with this, just 2 minutes briefly also share how to seek forgiveness. माफ कर दो वो भी जरूरी है ना. We are interested to hear on how to forgive others because we have this amazing false ego that I'm offended and I have to forgive. But little do we realize that I also need to be forgiven. So, what is the first step to seek forgiveness? First, we have to realize that I have made mistakes. And how do we know we have made mistakes? We should have at least one devotee in our life who can give feedback. Somebody who can give us honest feedback. One Grahastha told me once, Prabhuji, I'm very sorry. Yesterday, in the program, I behaved very, very, very casually with you. And I'm really sorry. I'm like, what? Well, we were friends. We were having good fun. No, Prabhuji, I'm very sorry. I thought he was very deeply, humble and all that. I thought, what happened? Wait a minute. Everything is normal. Relax. But why are you like this today? No, Prabhuji, yesterday when I was talking to you, my wife was watching the whole discussion. She was somewhere else, but she saw. So in the home at night, she gave good food. So next day morning he came and he said, Prabhuji, she gave me feedback. And then I realized, others would not have realized only. And then I told him, wow, amazing man, you have somebody to. हमारा कोई नहीं feedback देने वाला. Some people, nobody gives feedback. So it's very good if you have someone who can. It's not easy, but it's safe. It's safe to get feedback. So the first step is to have someone, at least one person in life who can give us feedback. Actually, the husband-wife system is inbuilt. There's an inbuilt system of feedback there. So, also, I've seen that many times we assure ourselves that Krishna understands my intention. I was sincere, but there's always a gap. Not always. Many times there's a gap between the intention and the action. So Krishna may understand my intention, but we still land up doing wrong things, mistakes. So therefore, we need somebody to correct. What is the famous line Shakespeare said? There is many a slip between the cup and the lip. So we must have big intention and give big classes, but when it comes to actual implementation, we need some support. We need somebody to help us. Therefore, first step is to have at least one person whose timely feedback can help us see that what we're doing is wrong. Because I tell you, if you don't realize I made a mistake, how will you seek forgiveness? Simple. Only when you realize you made a mistake, you will seek forgiveness. No? Okay. Second, very important, taking feedback from Krishna. We will take feedback from Krishna also. Now, I want to share something very beautiful I heard from, I think, Karan Maharaj. Very, very deep point. How Krishna gives us feedback. So, if we are attentive in our chanting, if we are attentive in our spiritual practices, then we will get feedback. And he gave an example. He gave a classic example of how did Durvas Muni get feedback? Who gave him feedback? Krishna gave him feedback. How did Krishna give him feedback? Through? Who went after him? Sudarshan Chakra. So, you are saying that Sudarshan Chakra is manifest in this world as the wheel of time. So, and Srila Prabhupada says what? Time is the external manifestation of the super soul. So, internally, super soul will emerge in the heart as conscience. Sometimes we understand this is wrong, this is right. So super soul is the voice of God, Paramatma, like that, intuition. But externally, through time, we understand. Like, I don't know if you've been humbled by time. We learn our lessons. So there is an individual, you're saying there is an individual Sudarshan Chakra which is guiding us, which is chasing us. And I have put my foot in my mouth. I have spoken something, and then my Guru Maharaj says, as a preacher, know that anything lofty you speak, Krishna will test you for everything you've spoken. Be careful. So Sudarshan, it gives you the vision, it makes you see. So time will make us see what we have done wrong, and that guilt will chase us. And we can feel the heat. Like Sudarshan Chakra, Durvas Muni was feeling the heat. I've seen devotees as we get older, we feel the heat of the mistakes we have done in the past. It gnaws at us and it doesn't leave us. And when we do something wrong and we're also parallelly sincere in our Krishna consciousness, then the mistake keeps haunting us. So that's like the Sudarshan Chakra is chasing us. So we have to recognize Krishna's feedback. So superficially, I cover it up through surveys, through more preaching engagements, and I hang around with friends who appreciate me, but I can't sleep peacefully unless I address the offense I have committed. So this is the best combination: feedback from devotees and feedback from Krishna. So basically, in simple words, it means have good sadhana, good attentive chanting, and good association. If both are there, then we are safe. So I was reading one lecture of His Holiness Sachinanda Swami Maharaj on this topic. He says, every great person in this world, he says, you say any great person, all the great people in this world, the one thing was common in all of their lives. In this world, we're talking about. Those are chief successes. They all had at least 2 or 3 people in their lives from whom they could take praise also and they could take criticism also. And they knew that it is coming from a genuine space. So there should be somebody like that in our life, which is very, very important. Generally, if you see people criticize you because they're envious, and people praise you because they want to flatter you. But we need someone who's real, who will appreciate, who will protect. So like that, this is some thoughts I shared. There is no end to this discussion. So let us summarize. So what happens if you don't forgive? Huh? Misdirected. What else? Disproportionate. And third is becomes self-centered, become more interested. How to forgive others? There are 2 aspects to forgiving others. First is how to see them, and second, how to see ourselves. So how to see them when they offend us? First, they are controlled by nature. Second, they are distress. The classic example is Ramayana, Lakshman versus Sita. That is. Third, they are also devotees of Krishna. And then how to see ourselves when we are offended? First, have no watchdog. Second, opportunity to become a transition person, change, contribute positively. And third, see our own faults. And then we discussed how to seek forgiveness. Before that, we also discussed how we have to learn to accept indirect apology also. थोड़ा time लो, थोड़ा behavior में shift देखो. And if somebody begs forgiveness, don't question their intention and sincerity. Remember that if the scriptures are so kind, if you sleep in the dham, you get dandavat ka benefit. So if somebody says sorry, give him the benefit of actually begging forgiveness. And then we discussed how to seek forgiveness. What is the first thing? Recognize our mistake. Then take feedback from people. And Krishna means attentive, chanting and hearing. And devotee's feedback means good association. And also, who is the best person, example of forgiveness? Who is the best example of somebody forgiving always? Krishna. Krishna, when he says intention, good intention, bad action, he says good intention. Example? Vishma. When he sees bad intention but good action, he takes action. So the example, when he sees bad intention and bad action, he waits for the devotee to seek forgiveness and immediately the devotee is forgiven. So this is what we discussed today. Hare Krishna, I'm sorry I spoke on a very lofty topic, but I felt it is important for myself. Hare Krishna. Corrections, comments. Yes, bro. As a Vaishnavas, this topic is very relevant, but the whole sense of Bhagavad Gita is about Krishna making sure that the people who are not on the right path, they come to their places. They've been dealt with justice or punishment, whatever it's not. Like yes. Drona, yes. Duryodhana. Yes. See, he was not telling Arjuna to practice forgiveness, though that's what we must do. Yes. That's what we discussed in the beginning, no? That rebalancing the scales, dharma principle, justice and forgiveness. Justice is for healing the past wound, forgiveness is for going forward. Also forgiveness, Mother.
Because you mentioned that devotees are more merciful than Krishna, so we forgive devotees. In some context, you mentioned that. So my question is that so we need to make devotees should be happy. So by that can we go all over? We need to work out for the devotee what they are thinking.
Yeah, that is Yasya Prasada, Bhagavat Prasada. Yasya Prasada, Nagati. But we please devotees to go back to body, but in the consciousness that this devotee is dear to Krishna. See, Mayavadis also serve their guru, serve each other very much, but they keep Krishna out of the picture. Sahajiyas serve Krishna only, they are not devotees. Prabhupada has given us a best balance. We want to serve devotees. We serve devotees. Why? Because Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite parlo, tomar shakti ache. Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Bodhi Daita Pache Pache. So the devotees carry Krishna in the heart. So that's why we serve them, we give our life to them. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. You can please correct me. I don't ask question. I think. First of all, thank you, Prabhu, for taking a topic which I think each one of us, in person or online, can relate to. And with all the examples that you gave from Shastra, right from Indra and Krishna and Brahma and Krishna, and even examples as Parikshit Maharaj and Prithu Maharaj Indra, I think this topic is extremely spiritual, extremely scriptural. And with the steps that you gave, I think it's very easy to assimilate for us as to what the problem is, what are the characteristics, and what are the call for action when such a stimulus takes place. So my question is, Prabhu, and I think some of us, maybe most of us, have gone through situations like this. What is the thin balance between accepting one's mistake, saying sorry to save a certain relation, certain friendship, certain community relation, and you observe, and we observing that we do that more often than the person on the other end, and we say sorry more than the number of sorries we hear,
and the effort that we make to save a certain relationship is much more than the effort that's made on the other end. Also, when could we say a certain relation is toxic, and therefore to maintain sanity, it is okay to keep distance and respect? And how much should we bend? Because we see जो झुकता है उसको झुकाया जाता है. The more, and what's again, to add one more thing, what is the balance between humility and being exploited?
वाह. झुकने से अगर रिश्ता सुधर जाए तो झुक जाओ, पर हर बार आपको ही झुकना पड़े तो रुक जाओ. So how do we translate this in English?
I don't understand Hindi, but I understand this, whatever you say. I can accept whatever you are.
So yeah, so we need to beg forgiveness to save the relationship, but every time you have to do it, then stop, because then you may be a victim. And my understanding is this is a classic situation where Krishna has put us in to make us vulnerable and to take guidance of some other devotees. If we can go to a group of Vaishnavas or another Vaishnava and say, Prabhu, I trust your intelligence more than mine, help me. And that devotee says, Prabhu, you should stay out of this. So this is a classic, because we have somewhere this false the thing that I can take charge of my life. But we have in our history of Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, there is no self-made devotee. We all are dependent, we are beggars. But when we come new in bhakti, we think I'm a warrior. I'm a soldier. I will fight Maya. That's what, when I put my hand on my bead bag, I'm like in the mood of a warrior. I'll fight Maya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I remember when I joined the temple, I was like a brahmachari. It is as if I was given a gun and told, go and fight Maya. And I remember preaching, distributing books like a warrior, shooting at Maya. And nothing came from the other side. No bullets came from the other side. So I was thinking I'm winning the battle. And I went on for a few years. Hari bol. And then suddenly one day, a bullet whizzed past me. And some face-shaking incident, a bomb of face-shaking incident exploded before me. And I narrowly survived. And then I looked behind for the devotees who encouraged me to go and fight Maya. Then I thought nobody is there. I realized that, my gun back, I'm standing alone here. Then I realized, what should I do? Then the same Bhagavatam pastimes, same scriptures appear different for me. Earlier, I was appreciating Haridas Thakur chanting 192 rounds. I saw him as a great warrior. Now I see that he chanted 192 rounds, but still Maya Devi tested him. And Haridas Thakur was chanting 192 rounds attentively. I'm chanting only 16 rounds, and that will be attentively. And I'm expecting Maya will leave me. No. Then this is a time to change the paradigm. When we are young devotees, Prabhu, many of us, we are adrenaline pumping. We are like passionate devotees. We want to conquer and we want to get crash into the spiritual world. We want to achieve Krishna. But when we go through this kind of crisis, we realize I can't achieve Krishna. I can receive Krishna. I'm not a soldier. I'm a beggar. So now we have to slowly learn to wear both the dresses. We have to be a warrior also, but we have to be a beggar. So this is a classic case where we come in front of Vaishnava and say, oh dear Vaishnava, please help me. Kandiya kandiya jana hi badukha gram, samsar anala maite, magibe vishram. Shunya amar dukha, Vaishnava Thakur, amalagi Krishna abe dibena prachur. So when I go to Krishna and say, Krishna, he is suffering, please help him. So then I have hope. So we go and beg devotees. So I think Krishna puts us in these situations where we can tell a group of Vaishnava or another Vaishnava that I trust your intelligence more than mine. Please help me. I think to make us understand that we are not a warrior, we are a beggar. See, warrior gets recognition, medals and all that, but beggar gets compassion. Ultimately, what do you want? You want honor or you want kindness? We want kindness, we want love. So I think that's where Pratapudra Maharaj, he had to beg, literally. He was a soldier. यदि मोरे कृपा न कोरी बेगोर हरि राज्य छाड़ी योगी होइला होइबे भिखारी. He says, my dear Lord, if you don't accept me, I'll give up my kingdom, I'll give up my robes as a king, I'll become a bhikhari, I'll become a beggar. So I think this is where this is going in our situation when we go through such situations. So the thin line, many times it's blur, it's a fog. And holding on to the association of devotees, we can cross through. And then we realize after some time, oh, I thought I forgave him. Then we realize after some years, oh, forgiveness is not an event. We think, okay, I forgave him, tick. No, forgiveness is a process. I forgave him 5 years ago. I ticked my box, but now I realize actually I didn't forgive him. So then again I enter that space. I sincerely repent my mistake. I beg forgiveness. It's a process, Prabhu. So there is no you can't really know because there's no formula. Here ho gaya. If the clarity was there, then I would be God. No, I'll always be. I have to be humble till I go back home, back to God. Srila Prabhupada, last days, he's begging forgiveness from his God brothers. During the entire preaching, there are a lot of tension between some God brothers and Prabhupada. In the last days, Prabhupada and his God brothers would beg. You've seen those exchanges in Lila Amrit and also in Servant of Servant. So I think a few things here, Prabhu. One is consulting other devotees, genuine well-wisher, being vulnerable with them. Second, being a beggar in spirit. And third, trusting the process. We are evolving, we are growing. I think this is how we grow. There is no formula as such. Okay, this is a magic pill I take and this is a way to forgive. It's a journey. I don't know if I could answer this question. Also, when we beg forgiveness, see how subtle it is. Initially, when I say sorry, when I seek forgiveness, it's not genuine maybe, but after some years I realize, oh, have you seen this? Sometimes when we seek forgiveness, we give clarification also. Actually, forgiveness means there should be no ifs and buts. Prabhu, I'm really sorry, but I'm really sorry, Prabhu, but means whatever you said before is gone. I'm really sorry, Prabhu, but you overreacted. So we are young, very immature, but we are sincere. But it's a struggle. So there is the thin line. We are able to get clarity only as we grow. Okay, that was a mistake. Oh, I did a blunder. How could I do that? Now when I look back, one incident in my life, I can't share the details. Now when I look back, I feel it was politics what I did. At that time, I was I was feeling it was not politics. It was sincere. It's like I don't know whether it is only humility or whether it is actual understanding, maturity. But when I look back, I would never do that mistake again. And yet, it's going to remain with me for the rest of my life. How could I do it? So it's like that, Prabhu. So it's a part of our growth. Right.
Can I make a comment, Prabhu? One second, comment, Prabhu, thank you.
Yes. You and then Mataji, and then I see Prabhu also. All three of you can make comments.
I understand what said you think, sir. It's a personal experience, only all here, sir. I don't remember. It's very hard to say, our ego really hurts. It's not easy to say sorry to the others, sir. But over the years of the experience, past 4 years, I'm giving the importance to the seven. I'm really thankful to the Prabhupada for that. With that, I learned the one thing, honestly, let it go. It is very hard, one thing Krishna made me realize is, if I keep the grudge, as a Paramahatma, Krishna acts in our hearts. He won't be happy inside me. Whatever I do, everything is the wrong actions. So it's like, it's okay. It's my karma. And through the 7 months, one thing I learned is, for example, so and so acts, differently with me. I whine Prabhuji, and honestly, in front of Krishna God, I'm telling the truth. I whine, I cry. This person did this person did this person did this, so. From the, he goes so many ideas, Prabhuji, where I can improve, Prabhuji. This is the personal experience. Over the years of the experience, it does not matter how many years I have been, but past 4 years, I'm really grateful because of the Sevanam. This is what I learned because I want to keep the heart clean where Krishna resides in the heart. That is the purity.
Beautiful.
So,
Thank you. Yes.
Prabhuji, my question is relating to that, but in a short way. Means that sometimes if any devotee or me do the fault, we say sorry, but it's a no, not by hurt. We are just saying sorry because sorry is very common. Everybody is listening lecture, and he normally says sorry. Next day he came and everybody is saying sorry very frequently. So my question is that we need to accept sorry by words or by action. If you are saying sorry, you on my side, you should do the seva in right way. If anybody is not doing the seva in correct way and doing offense and is saying sorry, should I accept? On that matter, should action is important or words are important? Is my question is that.
For service.
Yeah, if they're doing the service, someone is doing in wrong way, but he's saying sorry or she is saying sorry, but he is not correcting the what's that?
There is a way of communicating. Bir Krishna Maharaj has written a whole book on that. So it's called compassionate communication. So there is a way of communicating. Of see what you observe without judging and express what you're feeling and then communicate it with a specific request. So that way you can avoid offense. That way you can avoid offending him or that person. So you can say, Prabhu, last 4 times in 6 months, you said sorry for the mistake you did. And then 5 times you repeated the same thing and you are late for the seva, you're not doing the seva. So when you take observation without judging, I repeat, observe without judgment. When you see, just like video camera is observing me right now, it's not judging me. You may be judging me. Arey, how long will you continue? So when we can observe without judgment, and then we can make a specific request, then at least we will avoid falling into the same trap as that person. So when you are do seva together and that person is only saying sorry but not changing in the behavior, then point out that behavior. Point out that behavior. So there's a difference between observation and judgment. I hope you know that. If I say the room is very hot, it's an observation or a judgment? Judgment. If I say it is 32 degrees Celsius, that's an observation. So when you tell someone that, Prabhu, you are very lazy, that's an observation or a judgment? Prabhu, you are not sincere. You say sorry and you don't act on it. That's a judgment. But if you say, Prabhu, last 4 times in 2 months, you are late for this seva or something. When specifically you observe this is what has happened and this is what we expect you to do, then at least you are not offended. So like that. So that's the we have. Otherwise, we also do the same thing that what person is doing. Now, what is the difference between him and me?
Prabhu, it's not happens with me. I just see as
Yeah.
a movie I see devotees
Yes.
are doing the thing. People them doing this call and I love and I enjoy and I go stay away. I didn't give it times to 6 months or 1 month or 2 days. Because if one day I do give time, second day I'm unable to do the japa. I'm thinking the same and doing the same.
Yes.
So we should say please forgive me, or we should.
We should say, please forgive me, but we should ultimately mean it. See, remorse is the most important thing in seeking forgiveness. Remorse, not the words. I may say, please forgive me, but if I have not internally been remorseful, then that situation will come back because Krishna wants me to learn some lessons. And if I have not learnt my lessons, if I have not genuinely felt remorse, then I will not be able to escape that lesson. It will come back to I may change my situation, I may change my place of stay, I may change my service, but it will haunt me till I learn my lesson. Because whether the person forgives me or not, that is not important. The more important thing is, am I genuinely remorseful? Because Krishna sees that sincerity. Krishna will take us seriously only when we are sincerely seeking forgiveness. And that's when anarthas go away. I've seen sometimes devotees don't forgive you. You sincerely said sorry. They don't forgive you. So then are you supposed to be miserable? No. Krishna is watching. Therefore, our intention is most important. So that's the way it is. Hare Krishna. We'll end with this last. Okay.
I think Prabhu, you already answered the question.
Thank you.
I was just going to ask how one should seek forgiveness from oneself. Of course, you can so sorry with all that sympathetic to the other person, but you shouldn't wait for the other person to give you forgiveness, because as long as you are remorseful and you learn the lesson, and how should you forgive yourself inside versus getting confirmation on the forgiveness from someone else.
Same principle. How do you forgive others? Know that they're acting because of nature. Sometimes when you are done something wrong, you can forgive yourself. See, one amazing thing about Krishna is, we don't have to be perfect and pure to be loved by Krishna. Wherever I am, I can come back to Krishna. In the external world, you have to be perfect. Like you're cooking for Krishna. Anybody ask for cooking? Can you say, I didn't put any masala, any stuff? Krishna is Bhavagrai. Krishna. Not only we cook properly, we are very particular about decorating that food item also. We put dhania pata in a particular way. You see how they decorate the food item? Even in our temple in Chowpatty, there is major reconstruction going on because we want the temple to be beautiful for Krishna. In the external world, everything has to be pakka when you offer Krishna. So the mistake we do is we think in my inner world also, I have to be perfect and pure before I am offerable to Krishna. Do you get this? This is one mistake we commit. We think, oh, I'm not pakka, so I cannot offer myself to Krishna now because, I will offer surrender completely when I become pure devotee. You don't realize that surrender is the way to become pure devotee. So we are waiting. Because external world, we have to offer best thing, no? So internal world also, we are waiting to become best. And we miss Krishna. He's so near and we miss Krishna. So don't worry, inner world, you are right now in the best situation. Krishna is Dina Vatsala, Bhakta Vatsala. He will lick away, the cow licks away all the things on the cow's body. Just come, Krishna. I have nothing to offer you right now. I have a wilted flower, murjaya or full. If you love someone, do you give him a wilted flower? But to Krishna, we are giving a wilted flower, not because we want, because that's all we have. Abhi kya karega? Krishna, this is what I have, but I love you. I want to love you. Please accept. So self-forgiveness means coming to Krishna with this mood. How to forgive ourselves? Come to Krishna with wherever you are. What Chaitanya Prabhu says, at your place, in your space, something is this. I love that. Anybody know that quote? And from your place, at your pace, enter Krishna's space, something like that. And attract is grace. So wherever we are, we can access Krishna. So Krishna is waiting to see whether we are coming to him, even we are fallen, that's okay. Come to him first. अरे बाबा, भगवान के पास तो आओ पहले. नहीं मैं प्योर ड्यूटी हो जाऊँ मत. कभी नहीं होएगा. When they were in Sri Lanka, I end with this, and then it's 9 o'clock now. So I remember they were in Sri Lanka Yatra. So we were going to this Hanuman temple. We had to go through a hill. Bus was driving, and then turn, go up, then again up. So 5 minutes going in one direction, then turning, then again 5 minutes, then again. So we were going, one boy, Sri Lankan boy was standing in front with 4-5 bags filled with flowers to sell. And he was waving at us. And our bus was going full speed. It avoided him and went ahead. And I saw him. I thought I was the only one who saw that boy. But everybody in the bus also saw the boy. So bus went ahead and then we turned and we went ahead. And then again after 5 minutes, we see this boy in front of us. So he climbed to the hills. We were taking the road. So he knew shortcut. And he's again standing smiling. And again we avoided him because we had to reach the temple. So like that, 5 times it happened in that hill. And the 5th time it happened, he was sweating completely. But he had this bag, he was smiling, waving the bag at us to buy his flowers. And at that point of time, everybody in the bus unanimously at the same time shouted, "Stop! Stop!" They stopped the bus. And that boy was called inside the bus. He was a 9-year-old Sri Lankan boy, dark complexion. He had 5, 6 bags filled with flowers, and all of them were wilted. Ekdam sada hua phul tha. And he was opening, smiling. We didn't know the language. We didn't know the language. And Sri Lankan rupee, Indian rupee is much stronger than Sri Lankan rupee. And all the flowers were purchased by the devotees. And some of the devotees I was watching, they gave 500 rupees for one flower. That was Sarava Apun. 500 rupees, Prabhu, that's a lot of money. And in 5 minutes, this boy's bag was completely empty. And pocket was full with money, with rupees. And he's getting down happily. And I'm looking at him. I said, what did this boy do? Just his enthusiasm to offer what he had. Although they were wilted flowers, his sweetness, his desire to come to us. It just melted our stone heart. And we took whatever he had and we gave him rupees. Similarly, we go to Krishna. Krishna, this is what I wilted flowers. I'm full of anarthas. I've made mistakes. I've committed offenses, Krishna, but I love you. I want to be sincere. Our enthusiasm, our desire to come to Krishna, Krishna will take all our wilted flowers and fill our hearts with the rupees of his love. Krishna will say, "ठीक है यार." So we have hope. So self-forgiveness is that coming to Krishna wherever you are. Is that okay, bro? Can we stop here? Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Bihari Prabhu. Yesterday you took a very key topic on sometimes we are stuck on how we actionize by now, and today you talked about the forgiveness and from both aspects, right? Like we can make impact on others or we may be impacted, but you analyze the whole aspect on like how the forgiveness can be possible, how seek as well as give forgiveness. So dear devotees, again, as we know, Redmond Prabhu has been part of the ISKCON for 3 decades, and he has done very deep study of the scriptures. And as we know, sometimes we can get caught up with the complexity of the scriptures. But what Prabhu does is that he makes it so simple, right? All the complex topics. So let's express our gratitude and thank His Grace Vrajbari Prabhu very sincerely from our heart by chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Again, this is a 4-part series, Life Lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam. So today was the second part, and third part and fourth part will be in the temple tomorrow and on Friday. Now, after we hear the Hari Katha, we'll have some Kirtan. Sorry? Yeah. So
I was just wondering because I think devotees will have to drive like another 10 minutes. So I don't want to delay them. I'm okay to do Kirtan, but I don't want to delay them.
So devotees, you're okay? Then say Hari Bol. Also, let's acknowledge and appreciate the host. According to me, they are super devotee family. All 4 of them get done mantra are good. Yeah. But Mataji is correct. I mean, saying that they come even for the group japa, right? They come at 4:30 for Brahma Murta chanting. So, and we know that, right? Like some of us were driving from Samavish, it took a while, right? They do it twice every day, like come for the morning japa and then come for the evening classes actually. And we know that they stay till the end of the program, even when the kirtan ends late actually. So let's sincerely appreciate because this was they came forward and they had a sincere desire to serve, and it was in a short duration they pulled this, they made it happen. So let's truly appreciate Saathvik Prabhu. Saathvik Prabhu, please come forward. Sanvika mataji, and then we have Swarit and Samvik. So let's sincerely appreciate all of them. Would you move forward here for the Kirtan? Yes, no problem.
There.
Thank you.
Saathvik Prabhu, can you move the asana that you have sit down? Yeah. I'm sitting here. So that more devotees can come.
Did I give you Mahaprasad? No. I gave you also. Did I give you Mahaprasad? I got answer. I got it. I'll just take it over.
Bring the Raguni. Yeah, Raguni man.
So the other thing is that, like, for the past few days, we are ending our day with the holy name and also beginning our day with the holy name actually. So Prabhu is a little conscious that how long you can do the kirtan, because tomorrow morning we are again meeting for the 4:30 group japa. So Prabhuji, I think we can go till 9:45. I think it should be okay.
But that's fast, right?
That's 9 of.
Yeah, that is fast. That is fast.
You know the
Damodu Prasad was saying that remove the cloth.
Yes, you will.
So Anandaram Prabhu, do we have more mics for the vocals or for instrument? Because the other mic is just
This Kartal, which is doing Gokul.